Welcome to Mecum's Gone Farmin' Vintage Tractor Auction, featuring the only classic tractor auction of its kind in the country. Today, some of the hardest to find tractors in the world will hit the auction block. So sit back and relax and enjoy Mecum's Gone Farmin' Vintage Tractor Auction.
Hello everyone, and welcome to the Top 10 show of Mecum's Gone Farmin' Spring Classic. I'm your host, Mike Holland, along with Max Wilson, and these are our favorite tractors that actually hit the block this weekend, Max.
Yeah, and there's going to be some great tractors come through, as well as some really big surprises too, Mike.
Folks, don't go anywhere. There's plenty of auction coming up right after this. Welcome back to the Mississippi Valley Fairgrounds right here in Davenport, Iowa. I'm Mike Holland along with Max Wilson, and you're watching Mecum's Gone Farmin' Spring Classic. Let's get back to the action. That is going to bring us next to this parade running tractor, which is lot F47. It's a Massey Harris 30. If you're looking on the website, it's a little bit different. You can't quite tell, but our cameras are going to certainly get a great shot. Here, as you can tell from the back, this is got some of those famous colors, and great shot of the back there.
And you look at the back of these, and the Massey Harrises, they always had that PTO shaft set really high, but this one here appears to have the original rear tires on it, got the wheels dished out. Pretty nice looking tractor. This one here has been restored, good rubber. Carb has been overhauled, has a new battery in it and ready to run any of the parades. You can see right there that little black piece in front of the Model 30 designation. That'd be for putting your little flags in if you're driving it in the Independence Day parade or actually any parade. And of course, Massey Harris, we see a few of them at every auction, but kind of one of them we don't see too many of them show up here at the Gone Farmin' auctions. And of course, got their place in the history books of farm tractors for a lot of their innovations, live power takeoff, and a lot of different stuff that they did, and then other manufacturers took a little bit to catch up with. So, also a no reserve on this auction. And that's going to sell at $1,300. That's a little money for a lot of fun with that tractor driving her in parades. So,
of course, something that made so famous during some of our last other auctions are the internationals. This is an international 1206 Wheatland. This is lot F48, for those of you following along on television.
Yeah, and of course the 1206 has been very popular here with Gone Farmin'. This one here, there were only about 1,289 1206 Wheatlands produced. About 110 horsepower tractor on the PTO. This one has new Firestone 18438 rear tires and rear wheel weights. This one here, as it come in, you could barely hear the thing run. It was a very smooth running 1206. And of course at $10,000, right out of the hole there.
And a great shot of that international logo, of course, with the turbo right across the hood. That famous red and white scheme. Sitting at the 12,750 mark right now.
And you look at that front grille, it's kind of an iconic look with those headlights mounted right in there, and then that bar grille. So we take a look at Ryan over here, seeing if he's got a bidder that he can get on the hook here. I believe Logan just announced the reserve has come off of this tractor, right at $13,000.
And it rolls out at $13,750.
John Deere 430 high crop with an
And we're going to start into the high crop series here, Max. This is a 1959 John Deere 430 high crop.
Yeah, and here once again, a very unique tractor. There were, I don't think there were too many 430 high crops built. This one actually has the H on the tag, so it is designated as a factory high crop. Has good new Goodyear rubber, new paint, new seat, nice tractor. Does have 3-point and dual hydraulics. I'm not quite seeing that on the back of the tractor here, but and this one's selling here at no reserve.
We'll be working as hard as they can to get every single tractor bought for you guys today. So we're going to get five guys, if it's your tractor, rolls right to the door, please come up and see Greg, guys. Greg will be right down here, guys. He'll assist you and get your tractor sold. And if guys, we're going to get five guys, 1040 time again. We're going to get five guys.
Of course, a lot of our spectators here are used to this tractor exhaust making its way and clouding up this area. You can always spot the ones that aren't quite used to it, because those are the ones nodding off a little bit, sleeping a little bit early.
As Logan Schmidt is up there trying to get some bids on this 430 high crop. We get a good shot of our grinder this weekend, and his name's Greg. He's over there working with the seller, and I believe he just got the reserve pulled on that tractor.
Doing well.
At $15,000.
Of course, Logan working the crowd as much as he can here. It's auctions off this tractor, moving it through at $15,000. And it's going to sell out at $15,000 even.
Up at no reserve,
That's
F50 is a 1969 John Deere
4020.
4020, restored, parade ready, and has front
1969 John Deere 4020.
And this one here, it says it's parade ready. This one's selling at no reserve. This one restored with dual hydraulics, new front tires, new battery boxes, new cables, fenders, new steering wheel, new gauges. Pretty much if it needed replacing, it got replaced on this tractor. Steering's also been rebuilt. Does have the side console.
Great shot of the auctioneer there. As Max said, this has been restored. Lots of new on there with $12,000 bid. No reserve on this particular auction. Already at $15,000.
Dan coming over there and getting a guy wrangled in to bid on it. Yeah, that looks really nice. That flashing light working on the left-hand fender and them headlights lit up on the front.
Great overhead shot as our camera makes its way down in.
Dan coming back down here, work on his bidder that he's got right in front of the big screen. And we get a shot of Ryan kind of perusing the crowd there. And there's another great shot looking at the operator's station at 4020 and out over that hood.
It's going to sell out at $15,750. Well, Max, it really has been a great auction so far. What do you think?
There's been some great tractors coming through, Mike.
We're going to take a quick break, and you're watching Mecum's Gone Farmin' Spring Classic, sponsored by Steiner Tractor Parts. Don't go anywhere.
It's Mecum's Gone Farmin' Spring Classic. Today we're counting down the top 10 tractors from Davenport, Iowa. Let's start at number 10.
It's going to bring lot S133 as a 1969 John Deere 4520. Another beautiful paint job on this tractor. Has had a complete restoration, power shift transmission, new tires, new gauges and dash, new wiring harness. Believed to have about 1,800 hours since overhaul. Does have a new turbo and new batteries on it. Does have no 3-point on the back. Has the wide swing standard drawbar on the back. Dual remotes with a side console. Very nice looking tractor. We watch Ryan over here handling 2 different bidders, I believe.
Already at $23,000. And now at $24,000.
We see Audra working with the bidder at the back of the room.
And they're going to sell that one out at $25,000.
Number 9.
The 1969 Minneapolis Moline G1000 Vista. This is something you don't see every day either.
No, and I'm sitting here, I'm kind of wiping my chin. I kind of been drooling over this tractor. You don't see many of the G1000 Vistas, and this one here just an immaculate restoration, professionally restored, all new Firestone tires. You sit up nice and high on this tractor. It's got 3-point dual hydraulics. Total overhaul and restoration front to back, top to bottom by Schultz Classic Restoration. Engine starts on first stroke better than any G1000 out there. This one's a diesel and does have a complete documentation of the restoration on it. I mean, this thing here, when it pulled in, just beautiful. And of course, Minneapolis Moline was known for big motors, big stroke, big cubic inch, and they ran slow.
Big size too, Max. You know, the guy sits up 6 feet off the air here. This is not a small tractor by any stretch.
And as we're sweeping back, you look at that manifold with the 3 ports. These actually had 3 individual cylinder heads and blocks that you could pull off of the block. So you had your cylinder, the lower block that encased your crankshaft, and then you had individual cylinders and individual heads for each one. So kind of a unique design. And very unique. Reserve has been pulled, and we are at $24,500. So evidently the crowd is very appreciative of the restoration done on this G1000 Vista. And it's going to sell out at $25,000, Mike.
Number 8.
Only 8 built. This is the lowest production tractor we're going to have here at the auction today, which is a 1957 Case 400 Super Diesel. Right around 50 horsepower on the belt. This one has new Rice and Cane tires on it, restored. Engine overhauled, new brakes, new gauges. And the 400 Supers were only built for 3 months in 1957, so a pretty unique little tractor here. And a beautiful restoration on it. I was looking at this one, and I mean, I don't think there's a spot where the paint's dull on this tractor anywhere.
Already reaching the $10,000 mark. $15,000 now is the mark to hit as the camera kind of comes right across the front of this tractor, showing you that gray case front there.
Yep, you can see the Old Abe there on top of the globe, the case logo. Looks like we got some phone bid action on this. Must be something with the phone bidders in these high crops.
And Kathy's sitting there waiting on her section. Usually a lot more action on her side of the room.
Yeah, there's not been much going on over there, but I'm sure as we get a little further in here, we're going to have some more action for her. So. $24,000 bid on this Pace 400 Super High Crop. And of course, a lot of these high crops in the environment and the climate that they worked in, they were pretty well eaten up and rotted out because of the salt air down by the coast.
Showing back there a great shot of the phone bidders there and what they have to go through. They stand up if they've got a bidder on the phone wanting to take place in the action.
Sold at $26,000, Brian. Sold at $26,000, Brian.
S79 is the 1952 Case High Crop offset.
Number 7.
Another part of the Mike White John Deere collection. This is a 1959 John Deere 330U.
Yeah, and the little 330s have always been a good seller here. They're nice little tractors. A lot of collectors like them because of their size. They can put them in a 2-car garage and still probably get their 2 cars in there. And of course, these being low slung like that, doesn't take too big of a door to get them through. So this one here does have 3-point on the back with wheel weights.
Well, and I tell you what, this one's really got some attention right now, sitting at $22,500, up $23,000, $24,000. This one's really moving up the ladder quick, Max.
Yeah, this one here also has 2-cylinder documentation. It was shipped May 29th, 1959. It has 3-point load and depth control, the swinging drawbar. Power takeoff is on this tractor also. And as I said before, the rear wheel weights does have lights and fenders on it. So,
and reaching a record number here, just south of $30,000, sitting right now at $29,000 bid.
And of course, from the Mike White collection, another one selling at no reserve. So.
And it starts rolling and making its famous roll toward the exit ramp of our auction block here in Davenport, Iowa, still sitting at $29,000. And Travis's way, it's going to sell out at $29,000.
And here is number 6.
It's a 1980 John Deere 4440 high crop RGPS tractor, Max.
Yeah, of course, this one here again with the 4-post roll guard canopy on it. Also has the power shift transmission. This is the most powerful high crop Deere made. And of course, the 4440 was made from 78 to 1982. This one here was sold out of Donaldsonville, Louisiana to Alma Plantation, where it spent its entire operational life in the sugarcane production. Serial number's been authenticated by WinData, which is an older system in Deere that kept track of serial numbers for the Generation 2s. This one has all new tires, hoses, hydraulic tubes, and fittings.
Just lifting the reserve off at $23,000 mark to make sure that this bidding gets feverishly high. $24,000 now, and we're going to find out how high this one will actually go. Again, the third in the trifecta series of the Dan Musil collection. As Max was saying, this one has been restored to actually factory specs, all the way down to every nut, every bolt that is put into this. He wasn't after restoring this with a beautiful look, even though it is absolutely beautiful. I think talking to Dan himself, he was saying that his purpose was to restore this absolutely how the factory intended to its original condition.
And this thing is, all three of these tractors have been 100% documented. Every nut, bolt, I think every ounce of grease has been documented that's been put into this thing. So.
Sitting right now at $24,000 with the reserve off. And reaching now at $24,500, trying to reach the $25,000 mark. There it goes at $25,000.
Travis back here holds the bid with the phone bidder.
And reaching $26,000, trying to reach it at $27,000 as it sits on the exit and has reached the $27,000 now, $28,000 mark. We get a quick back and forth here. Now at $28,000, now at $29,000. Making its way north, see if it can reach the $30,000 mark here. And Lance banging that gavel, trying to reach the top dollar here as we are sitting at $29,500.
Yeah,
we're now at $30,000, trying to reach the $30,500 mark.
All three of these tractors have been pretty well contested on the bidding, especially as they know we're getting down to the wire. We're getting a lot of little last-minute bids.
Has reached the $31,500 mark. Trying to reach the $33,000 mark. It's the $32,500 right now where it sits. Lance working that gavel.
As we're working this phone bid.
And they got it. They got their $33,000 bid. $33,250. Putting it right back to the phone bidder now. Sold at $33,250 to the one in the front row there.
Don't go anywhere. The top 5 is coming up. Welcome back to Mecum's Gone Farmin' Spring Classic. We're doing the top 10 countdown, and here is number 5.
You can pretty much see the detail all the way around on this one.
Of course, it's got them dual straight pipes on it with that V8, and he cracked the throttle a little bit. I about jumped out of my seat, kind of scared me a little bit as I was announcing what that 4020 had brought. This one here, right around 150 horse on the PTO is what they were rated at. Has had a complete engine overhaul, new TA and clutch. And of course, we're at 20,000 right now, and this one is selling at no reserve.
Only 862 of these built, Max. Which is one of the reasons it's going to bring a pretty high dollar figure, already reaching the $30,000 mark.
And of course, we've sold quite a few of these in the last few auctions, and they've always sold very well, especially when they're painted up this nice. We sit here and listen in to Logan up there with his chant, trying to get a little more money out of this tractor, and he just got another 1,000 out of it to hit 35,000.
And sitting right now, $36,000 bid.
Sold at $36,000. 36 ounce of
And he's going to let that one go at $36,000.
Number 4.
Max, we have reached our show point of what I think some people have been waiting for months. We are bringing in, of course, this is our Dan Musil collection, and we're going to reach our high crop series. This is lot S72. This is a 1989 John Deere 4255 high crop RGPS tractor. Tell us a little bit about why these are so special, Max.
Yeah, and what it is, of course, by this point, a lot of these high crops weren't being built anymore. It was really a special order. These here, we're going to have, I believe, 3 of these tractors in here out of this Musil collection, and these have just been so restored back to as close to original as you can get them. You look at the back of this tractor right here. If we can get a shot of it, you can actually see where the crayon, it's still marked on the back of it in chalk, or the wax crayon, the part number, that roll guard canopy that's on there.
We have got this one already hitting the $45,000 mark. We have some action on the phone at the back, and we knew that this was going to be sitting right now at $45,000.
And this one here, this tractor was sold to Westlaco, Texas, to Puebla, Mexico. So it is a Waterloo high crop serial number authenticated by John Deere. And this had 100% John Deere parts used to restore it to OEM specs. And this guy, he's been featured in several different magazines about these tractors, and his level of restoration on these was just unbelievable what he went through to get this. Also has all the documented OEM parts list, dealer invoice documentation for all restoration parts, and John Deere technical manual does come with it, and it is dated 11/1 of 1990, so it would have been right around the time that this tractor was brand new.
And it seems to have kind of leveled out here at $40,000 mark. Again, the 4255 John Deere High Crop Series restored to its absolute, down to the washer, down to the nut, to its absolute original condition. And now reaching $42,500. I think some of the bidders here are just kind of jockeying for position as it sits still proudly in its position right in the middle of the block. And the reserve has been lifted on this high crop at $42,500. This is going to be a great, we have some phone bidders in the back. I want to see where this one actually is going to end up at, $42,500. Again, original condition, restored back to this 1989 John Deere.
Huh? Just helping my inventory. I got to do some of these at home.
The 4255 High Crop Series, still sitting at $42,500.
And this
looking
one
for $43,000.
does also have the power shift transmission in it. Don't know anything about how rare or scarce it is, but I can tell you this, in the 55 series, there were not many high crops built.
The reserve is off, sitting at $42,500 as it makes its way to the exit door. Just giving you an idea of how high up this tractor sits. Our camera giving you a great side view as it starts its way to the exit. And Max, I'll tell you what, $42,500 is a fantastic price for this tractor. Every single owner's manual, everything was detailed, everything documented about this tractor. Dan Musil himself, and they're going to sell it out at $42,500.
Number 3.
Next one in the series, of course, is going to be the 1984 John Deere 4050 High Crop RDPS tractor.
And this one, once again, with the 4-post roll guard canopy on it and the power shift transmission. And this is the lowest production of the new generation high crops. There were believed to only have been 20 of these built. The 4050 was built from 83 until 1986. All the engine serial numbers, everything that had a serial number on this unit has been matched to make sure that everything was authentic with it. Approximately 3,500 original hours on the tachometer. It's a California high crop.
And quickly reaching $30,000. $35,000 now.
And the 4050 high crops were actually canceled in the middle of the 1980s for the farm recession because they didn't figure they were going to sell any of them. And here we've got one that is a documented 4050 high crop that has been restored to above and beyond factory specs. And when you actually look at some of this stuff, I don't know if it's this tractor or the next one that's coming up. Some of the air cleaner parts in that were never painted at the factory, and he actually went through and painted them back to that yellow primer color. I know that was one of the things he had going here. He had the side cover off so people could see that everything was back to just the way he found it. So
$36,000 now.
And the reserve is off on this now, Mike.
And reaching the 36, now $37,000, getting some more movement out of there. Tell you what, somebody's going to get a great deal here. This tractor's worth a lot more than $37,000.
Especially with as low hours there are on this with 3,500.
Got some late movement, reaching the $39,000 mark from the phone bidder in the back. Looking now for $40,000. The reserve has been lifted.
Looks like we got a couple of them on the phone. Travis is back here with his hand in the air. He holds the bid right now. We've got Dan over here in front of us working on a guy, trying to get him to bid one more time.
39.5.
We've got him.
39.5.
And he just $39,500. And just reaching the $40,000 mark.
One time you did that, I'm good. If you go 42,
Dan
he'll
his
quit.
magic, saying, come on, give me $40,250. And they're going to start rolling it slowly toward the exit, reaching the $40,000 mark. We got a new bidder right over here, just reaching the $41,000 mark.
$42,000. I'm at 41, 42. I got a tractor, please, worth more money. $41,000, 42,000.
And they reaching the $42,000 mark out on the phone. They got to be back and forth right in front of us. A lot of attention paid to this buyer right in front of our announcers table. We're going to find out if he's ready to go. He's ready to go. He reaches the $43,000 mark, and he looks. Travis kind of eyes the back table there where our phone bidders are making their play. We're going to find out here shortly is that they're deciding if they want to. And 43.5. No, he's shaking his head. He's off at 43,000.
$44,000 go once, twice,
And looks like it's going to sell out at $43,500.
Thank you, sir.
Up next is number 2.
And that's going to bring us to lot S46, which is a 1920 Waterloo Boy Inn. Now, of course, this is only the second or third tractor we've actually had to pull in from one of our sponsors, Canal Implement. We want to thank them, and they're bringing this in, and this is impressive, Max. It's actually running, and it's coming right by through there. You see that famous kerosene tank right up front there.
Yeah, and of course the Waterloo boy, that's how John Deere got into the tractor business, was by buying out the Waterloo gasoline engine company. This one here, being a 1920 model, does have chain steer on it. It is running. Not sure why it's not moving under its own power. Maybe a little bit of a problem. These actually use kind of a cone friction clutch on them, and sometimes those just don't want to work like they should. And of course, I have driven a Waterloo boy. They're a lot of fun to drive around. It kind of makes you think, how many times has someone else been in that seat and said, hey, I want off this thing, how many hours are it? And if you look at the seat on the back of this thing, it wasn't much to sit on. Of course, back then, most everyone was used to standing up and operating a tractor, whether it be a threshing machine or some of the big gas tractors that they had. So
right now sitting at $55,000, and now just putting it up even more. It's just reached the $60,000 mark. I don't think this is one that the crowd wants to see exit too quickly. This is really a piece of American history sitting before everyone here today.
And really, when you start looking at the history, the amount of tractor manufacturers that were based out of Iowa, of course, this out of Waterloo, Iowa.
No, I asked him.
And already reaching $61,000.
Tell them I'll net them the full price, but that's all we got. I won't charge them the seller's premium, but that's all we got.
Pretty nice sheet metal in them fenders and everything, so really a nice tractor.
Again, folks, you're taking a look right there. Great shots of this 1920 Waterloo boy in. And it starts to roll out and make its exit. Not sure we hit the...
Reserve's off!
And the reserve has just been lifted, so this is going to find itself a new home here. And they're going to find out if this has any more room yet in some of these bidders' mind. It's now sitting at $61,000. Lance, of course, looking for $62,000. They are going to sell it out at $61,000. A great piece of American history.
We'll be right back with the #1 tractor from Mecum's Gone Farmin' Spring Classic. Welcome back to Mecum's Gone Farmin' Spring Classic. You're watching the top 10 countdown, and here is #1.
One of our features here that's been kind of featured up front. It's a threshing machine.
Yeah, it was a Minneapolis threshing machine company built this tractor. The serial number on this one is 994. This was restored in 2014. Has a new, has the KW Type T magneto, the Kingston brass carburetor. It is the original fenders on this. Does have a Detroit lubricator, and this is the smallest of the heavyweight Minneapolis tractors. A chance to buy a pretty unique piece of Minneapolis threshing machine company history.
And they're opening up with a $35,000, now $40,000 bid. And now reaching $50,000 bid.
And of course, right here is telling you, it speaks to how rare one of these tractors is in this kind of condition.
Already reaching $60,000, $65,000, and I'm not sure they can keep up with the bids going back and forth here. already reaching the $70,000 mark. This was restored back in 2014, as Max just said. This is one of our featured interesting pieces of machinery that we've had at this weekend's auction. A lot of attention has been paid to this one, Max.
Yeah, and of course that tractor's sitting there running under its own power.
Very impressive as it hits the $70,000 mark.
Actually, I believe they just shut her down. I think it was getting a little warm on them.
They're now at $81,000.
83,000, 82,003.
And you often wonder how hard it is to find parts for some of these old tractors. A lot of them got cut up in the scrap drives for World War II. And I believe we've got 2 phone bidders on this. Travis and Audra are back there. Travis, of course, acting as a ring person, relaying the message, and Audra. And
for those of you watching on television, this really is a beautifully restored piece of American history, really. Sitting right now at the $83,000 mark.
And just got another bid in.
The reserve has been lifted. And now reaching the $84,000 mark, and then we're going to see how far this one's going to climb. Reaching an auction record here, already reaching $85,000.
And Audra back there working with the bidder on the phone.
And to buy this tractor is sitting at $85,000.
85,000, 85,000.
Great shot of the Minneapolis Threshing Machine Company logo there.
And of course, back then, a lot of that stuff that was hand painted or a stencil put on there. They weren't actually decals on. We just hit, I believe, 86,000, 85,000.
86. You were right, Max. Somebody pulled in a last-minute bid right before the gavel. This is where a lot of the positioning from a bidding takes place. Sometimes you don't want to bid too fast, you don't want to bid too slow, making your position known to the other bidders.
And it did not take us long to get to that $80,000 mark on this tractor.
It did not.
The paint scheme on this tractor with that gray and that dark green fender and the red wheels, it just really pops.
86,000, just about ready to close out this one.
$86,500. Sold that tractor, $86,000. Thank you.
$86,000. Well, that's going to do it for today's show. You've been watching Mecum's Gone Farmin' Spring Classic right here on RFD-TV. I'm Mike Holland along with my co-host Max Wilson. Folks, we'll see you next time.